Anoles are one of the most common groups of iguanas. There are about 20 species in this genus, and this is almost a third of all available iguanas. Anoles live in large numbers in Central America, Brazil, and only 2 species live in the United States. Description of anoles. Most anoles have a triangular head shape, while its rear part is widened, a slender body, compressed at the sides, paws are well developed, the tail is long, gradually thinning. All over the body there are homogeneous small scales. On the ridge, there is often a low ridge formed from more large triangular scales. In many males, the skin on the throat grows noticeably and sags, forming a special fan-shaped throat sac. A distinctive feature of anoles are wide finger plates. On the plates there are brushes with small hook-shaped hairs, so that anoles, like geckos, can easily be held on a vertical smooth surface, for example, on leaves. Most of the species of anoles are 10 to 20 centimeters long, but some exceed 45 centimeters. The color of these iguanas is very variable, most often it is dominated by green and brown tones. But when the anole is in an agitated state, or when light hits it, the color can change with amazing rapidity, and it changes from bright green to dark brown. Many anoles have a particularly bright throat sac, which can be yellow, orange, red or red-yellow, with a bright blue spot on the main background. Anoles lifestyle. Anoles mostly live in trees, only some species can settle on the ground. Many anoles, like geckos, settle near human dwellings. Each male has his own small feeding area, which he actively protects from competitors. Males constantly fight with numerous neighbors if they appear in an already occupied area. In comparison with other iguanas, anoles are the most intolerant of their relatives. Therefore, when males meet, a fight is guaranteed. These iguanas feed on a variety of insects and small invertebrates. Anoles hunt with amazing dexterity, grabbing victims on the ground, branches or in the air, while they make quick and accurate jumps. All types of anoles are oviparous. The clutch contains from 1 to 6 eggs. As a rule, laying is done in the ground, sometimes in hollows or clusters of bromeliads. Types of anoles. One of the most famous species of anole is the red-throated North American anole. The color of this species is very variable. You can see all kinds of shades from bright brown, yellow, bright green in the upper body to white silver in the lower body. A feature of North American red-throated anoles is the well-developed throat sacs in males. These bags are colored bright red. These are small salamanders, reaching 20 to 25 centimeters in length, taking into account the length of the tail. In their colorful outfits, males flaunt in front of females, and serious fights start between rivals. At first, the males circle in one place for some time, while keeping to the opponent sideways, opening their jaws for intimidation. Then they break off the meta and run towards each other. They twine into a ball and fall from the branch to the ground. On the ground, they scatter in different directions or return to combat positions again, after which the battle continues. But most often, after the first battle, the weak male prefers to flee, while he often bleeds or loses his tail. In some cases, such fights even end in the death of a weaker male. Around June, female red-throated anoles descend from the trees to dig a shallow hole in the soil and lay 1 to 2 eggs in it. The female covers the clutch with earth from above. After 6 to 7 weeks, fry emerge from the eggs. When they just get out in the shells, they immediately begin to climb trees. At first, the young keep together, away from the adults. Among the many other species of the genus of anoles, the anoles knights living in Cuba stand out. They are very large for lizards in size and reach more than half a meter in length, although 2/3 of this length is the tail. There is another interesting species, the Brazilian leaf-nosed anole, notable for the fact that its representatives have scaly flat outgrowths on the tips of their muzzles that protrude far forward. Thanks to these protrusions, the lizards have an unusual appearance. Anoles are a landmark of the American tropics due to the fact that they have a very bright and beautiful color, active behavior, hot-tempered nature, and constantly start fights among themselves, and they attract attention. How to keep anoles. The genus Anoles and the world fauna includes about 200 species and 300 subspecies, and is part of the iguana family. The natural range of anoles occupies the vastness of the American continent, where representatives of this genus are found from the southern regions of North America and the south to Bolivia and Paraguay in South America, as well as on the islands of the Caribbean. Within their range, they inhabit a wide variety of biotopes, from steppe herbaceous to humid tropical forests. Anoles are characterized by high adaptability due to which they inhabit a variety of cultural landscapes. Most representatives of this genus are arboreal. Anoles, like some geckos, have skin plates on their fingers due to which they easily move on vertical surfaces and when kept in a terrarium, even on glass. Anoles are able to change the color of their bodies, which makes them similar to chameleons. Their skin color can change from dark brown to green-blue, depending on the background of the substrate on which they are located, as well as on their mood. In some cases, anoles can even acquire a spotty color. Vertical terrariums are best suited for keeping anoles in captivity. Various representatives of the genus can be both very small and rather large. The parameters of the terrarium should depend on this, which should be proportional to the size of the animals. If for keeping small species of anoles, as well as young animals of larger species, you can use a terrarium with an approximate size of 30 by 20 by 40 centimeters, while for the largest representatives of the genus, a container measuring 60 by 40 by 70 centimeters is required. For keeping anoles, a terrarium made of silicone glass, the walls of which are glued together with a sealant, is best suited. At the same time, attention should be paid to the arrangement of ventilation, which plays an important role in the life of anoles. Ventilation in the terrarium should be arranged so that the air in it does not stagnate, which may cause overheating or waterlogging in it. On the other hand, ventilation should not be too great, which can greatly disturb the indoor microclimate in the terrarium. Deviation of microclimate parameters in one direction or the other is equally harmful to pets. Practical experience has shown that for the above terrarium dimensions, the height of the ventilation gap should accordingly fluctuate between 10 and 30 millimeters. It is advisable to install fluorescent lamps on top of the terrarium. The easiest way to achieve the optimal air temperature in the terrarium is due to incandescent lamps, varying their power from 15 to 25 watts. And to create normal lighting for the terrarium, you can use fluorescent or modern high-efficiency LED lamps, the power of which depends on the height of the terrarium and the species composition of the plants planted in it. The accumulated long-term experience of keeping anoles in captivity has shown that most species prefer high illumination. To create humidity in the terrarium, it must be regularly sprayed. This will enable the anoles to quench their thirst, which can be used to fortify them by adding a number of vitamins to the water, A, E, D, B complex. It is necessary to feed anoles with a variety of foods, using various types of crickets, locusts, adults and larvae of wax and barn moths, wingless species of house flies. But experts recommend completely abandoning flour crust. In the summertime, a variety of forages can be enriched with insects mowed with a net in natural habitats, fields and meadows. For large species of anoles, newborn mice can be given. Many anoles, along with food of animal origin, willingly eat some plant foods, in particular, soft and sweet fruit such as ripe bananas, apples, pears, etc. To facilitate the care of pets and maintain an appropriate sanitary and hygienic condition in the terrarium, it is better to feed the animals directly with tweezers, dipping the insects in calcium gluconate or glycerophosphate before feeding. With a sufficient and varied diet of anoles, when they do not experience a shortage of various food and mineral substances necessary for the development, then they become sexually mature already in the first year of life. From this time on, it should be remembered that anoles are territorial animals. Therefore, the males, having occupied each of their nesting sites, begin to behave extremely aggressively towards each other. For this reason, it is best to keep a group of one male and several females to avoid conflicts in the terrarium. At this time, it is interesting to observe the behavior of males, especially during mating or guarding the site, when they, with the help of the hyoid bone, protrude their brightly colored throat sac and produce a series of threatening nods towards the opponent. After mating, after 2 to 4 weeks, the females lay 1 to 2 eggs in a parchment shell on the substrate, which must be always wet. For successful offspring, it is advisable to immediately transfer the laid eggs to an incubator with a peat moss mixture. Here, at a temperature of 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, eggs ripen for 40 to 90 days. Small caterpillars, crickets and houseflies serve as starting food for young animals, subject to the same conditions of detention as those of their parents. Usually, one female per season can lay about 30 eggs, and female anoles remain capable of reproduction for 10 years. After the completion of reproduction, and in order to avoid depletion of the females, they should be isolated for some time, separating them in some way from the males. Price. Anoles are usually less than $10 each and are readily available as pets.